Hey everyone, it is Megan with I Am Me, and we are back for our next episode of Boss Crush Wednesday. This week's guest is Malik Mack.
That's me, and I'm super excited to be here. Always wanted to do this interview series after I've seen the first episode, which I should have been a part of. But I was moving, so it's my fault now. It hurts. But tune in, because this is about to be phenomenal.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Like I said, this week's guest is Malik Mack for our Boss Crush Wednesday.
Wonderful.
So, just for those of you who don't know Malik Mack, or probably more fitting, Mr. Entrepreneur, is an inspiration to many. Malik masters his crafts and then figures out a way to monetize it even more. Between speaking engagements, web design, classes, clothing design, there's not much he can't do. I've seen Malik set goals and make sure to achieve them. He wanted to live in New York, and he did, then moved back to Maryland when he was done with New York. He always said Cali was a dream of his, and now, to no surprise, he is living in Cali. I admire his passion and his drive to accomplish any goal or dream that he has. I am honored to call him a good friend of mine.
Oh, you trying to make me cry on this?
Did I miss anything?
Did you miss anything? No, you didn't miss anything. Oh, that's a good summary of who I am and what I do. I appreciate that. I love that. Wonderful. I can't wait. Ooh, this is going to be nice.
Alright, so I'll start with questions completely specific to you.
Okay.
How did you figure out what you wanted to do?
That's a really great question. I'm going to give you a little bit of background and then kind of how I made my foray into this specific branch of entrepreneurship that I'm in. I started kind of becoming an entrepreneur very early on in life. I was selling bubble gum right there at Edgewood Middle School. And I was making a profit off of that, so I'm making $20 a week. So someone young, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's money for the movies and things like that. So then I kind of graduated to CDs, DVDs, and sell software in high school and things like that. And once I really recognized that I had that knack for the hustle and making money and profits and understanding the numbers, which to me is the most important thing, as you know I always say. I kind of, when I went to college, I was like, okay, I know I want to be an entrepreneur, so let me find passion while I'm here in college, and let me try to figure out what kind of business and thing I kind of want to start. Tech background, I've always had a tech background, went to a technical high school, and I kind of, in college, was making money fixing computers and things like that, and then when I went to the workforce, I seen how much money web developers were making.
Okay.
So I said, if the employee is making this much money, the company must be making. Yeah, exactly. So I taught myself web development and started my own web development / branding / design company, and that pretty much became Mac Interactive, which is my main web development company, and that splintered off into a couple other sub brands, which is Social Change Interactive, and also e-commerce for you, which is two different branches I created to specifically niche web development to certain companies.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I got into that world. Just kind of naturally found my passion and jumped in.
All right. So you lived in Maryland.
Yes.
You decided to give New York a try.
Love New York, yes.
Stayed in New York, back to Maryland.
Yes.
Now you're in Cali.
Yes.
Is there another state or country on your radar for the next stop?
These questions are incredible. So I just got to Los Angeles, so I'm going to be, it's going to get a little interesting. I'm moving into real estate investment.
Nice.
So I'm going to be in a lot of different places because I've been researching and doing a lot of research for a few years now. So I do have places in mind for real estate, so I will probably spend time there but not actually live there.
Okay.
I think my anchor home will be Los Angeles, and I'm also planning on getting another place in New York City so I can be bi-coastal because I really love New York. But to me, I feel like Los Angeles is going to be like home base.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing I admire about you most is your way to figure out how to monetize all of your crafts. Any advice on people who have their craft, have their passion, and have it as a hobby and are kind of considering figuring out how to make money off of it?
Absolutely. I have so much advice on this topic, so I'm going to try to keep it brief. The biggest thing I'm going to say is I want you to know the numbers of the business. So if you know you have a specific passion, photography, graphic design, web development, maybe making cupcakes or chocolate covered strawberries, all kind of different things. Start to recognize and learn the numbers. Start to understand what business is and understand how to be in business. A lot of times we start things, we say, okay, I sold this to someone, I made some money, or pretty much the transaction occurred, I'm in business.
Yeah.
Where in a lot of times, you could be losing money in the long run based off of labor and cost of goods and things of that nature, your overhead, etc. So I would say utilize all these amazing resources that we currently have. We have TV shows. The Profit is phenomenal. Undercover Billionaire is another phenomenal one. YouTube, different things like that. And so you can understand the basics, that business 101 stuff. And then once you kind of get a foundation of that, then say, okay, how can I take what I love to do and sit that on top of that with all this knowledge I have and now become a profitable business that I can scale or grow depending on your goals. And then now you're in business. It's not just a hobby that you think you're making money from, where you might be losing money. I'm just keeping it brief. I'll go off on that one.
This kind of goes into it a little bit. One thing I've always noticed, you're never afraid to set your prices for what you deserve. How do you determine the value for your projects?
That's a phenomenal question, and there's so much psychological work that needs, like psych work that needs to go into this. I give people grace with this. I have clients who are like, don't laugh at me. I only charge them $100. I know you, and they, and I understand the work behind asking your worth, right? Yeah. So for me, what I had to do is I had to recognize that if I'm doing something and I know I'm getting paid for it, but as I'm doing it, I feel like I don't want to do this anymore. This is not enough money for this work. Then I recognize that I've undercharged. Okay. Right? And then also utilizing those same tools, right? Understand, getting on the Google, finding things like, okay, what is an average rate, right? And when you look for average rate, that allows you to see the bottom rate that people are charging and the top rate, and then kind of that middle average rate. So now you can kind of fall in this world, and it's trial and error, honestly. Yeah. And there's no one's perfect about this. I still do this every day. I still change my prices. Sometimes I'm working on a project, but you know what? If I do this again, it's gonna be double. And I'm already charging me $2,000, something like that. But it's because you recognize that your time is super valuable. Yep. And if you do not really say, okay, I have to really define what I need to make for this time, you're not going to do the projects, you're not going to feel fulfilled, you're going to be broke, or you're going to be working so hard that you're not going to be able to have other clients. So even if you make a good chunk off that one project, is for over the month, that may not be enough to sustain you. So you really have to sit down and say, okay, do the research, see what those averages are, those highs and lows, and start to ask those prices when people ask you, and what's the proposal, and then you might be surprised when they say yes. Yeah. And once they say yes, don't charge under that again.
All right, so I have a few general questions for the entrepreneurs that come on the channel.
Wonderful.
You've been an entrepreneur for over 15 years, pushing 20. Wow. I don't think I have ever known you to hold a job working for someone else. Yeah. What had you ready to quit?
Great question. I've had several jobs, but I think it's that knowing my value, knowing that I'm trading hours for dollars, and having almost what you can consider a cap on my income potential, because there's only 24 hours in a day. If I'm working a 9 to 5, then 40 hours of that week are already taken. Those type of, I'm a numbers person. So the things that had me ready to quit was understanding that I could be making so much more money, so much more impact, and so much more better decisions that's focused more around my family, right? Because it's one of my love languages, spending time, and specifically spending time with my family and friends. And so understanding that becoming an entrepreneur freed up my time, freed up my income potential, and freed up kind of like the box that I was put in, because I can only do certain things. I'm supposed to do this at the job. That for me was what allowed me to feel like I was ready to quit. But then to say that, and I don't want people to think that my story is, he just jumped out there and became an entrepreneur. No. I saved up. I did money. I did calculations. I calculated my expenses for over 3 months, and then I pretty much extended it out for a year. And I saved that sum of money through my businesses, my 9-to-5 job, and taking all that savings. I said once I had that year's worth of expenses saved up, then I wasn't taking a leap of faith. I was just stepping out comfortably on, okay, let's make this happen. And if I don't make another dollar for the next year, I still can live the same lifestyle.
Okay.
So
I try to harp on a lot defining your own success.
Okay.
I think it's important that I had to redefine my success that I was taught growing up to learn what my actual success is going to be and achieve all that I have.
Okay, I like that.
How do you define success?
So I define success in a number of different facets. I'm really big on time or freedom, right? How much time I have for me. Also, what impact I'm making or can make, and then also, what kind of legacy I'm leaving behind for other people, either close or far. And what I mean by that is a lot of people I talk to, they're like, man, I know you love entrepreneurship because you can make a lot of money and things like that. I do enjoy the income. I will always tell you I enjoy my income, but my income opens up the doors for me to do things I enjoy. That's why I enjoy my income, right? And I also enjoy my freedom because when I was living in New York. When I lived here in Maryland, I could be with my family at all times. My family is in Maryland, my family's in Philadelphia, I have family in New York, and I'm able to see them whenever I want. So if one of my baby cousins is having a birthday party on a Wednesday,
You'll be there.
I can be there, and I would be there. So to me, success is defined in having that balance that you are looking for, right? Because I think that balance is different for everyone in terms of your freedom, in terms of your income, and also in terms of like your impact / that legacy that you're trying to leave. Because I want people to look at me, people who look like, specifically people who look like me, to look at me and say, oh my God, it's possible.
Yeah.
This is not an unattainable. This, I may not have learned about this growing up, but now I see that, oh my God, he's from West Philly. Oh my God, he lived in Harford County. He lived in New York now, and he was able to do that. And what? This is possible. It's so possible. It's so possible. So to me, that's my biggest definition of success: having a healthy feeling in all of those facets of things, which is, like I said, is that impact, that legacy, that freedom, and also that income / so that allow you to do the things you want to do.
Yeah.
That's me.
All right, we are getting ready to enter fourth quarter. What does the rest of the year look like for you?
Wow. So I am doing a major. So I have a 6-month and a 12-month plan. I told you guys I'm moving into entrepreneurship. I'm moving into real estate investing. So the next quarter is really going to be heavy on me kicking up a lot of the current businesses I have and just making more money. Okay. Honestly, I just raised my financial goals across all of my companies. I've implemented, I brought in new companies in terms of marketing, PR. You see, I got this fancy stuff on. I'm changing the image a little bit so I don't just blend in so much. I want somebody like, who is that person? So I can say, oh, I'm the person who's going to teach you about multiple streams of income. So that type of thing. And so I'm kicking up everything. My web development business, like I said, I've hired new marketing people. My coaching business, I have a couple of VIP day things that I'm launching. So we'll get into all of that specific stuff, but I'm kicking up everything because revenue, I'm trying to increase revenue times 10 per month so that I can hit my 6-month real estate investing goal and then my 12-month real estate investing goals. So,
okay. Before we move on to this or that, I just want to bring up one thing I left in the bio.
Okay.
Another major, major quality of yours that I definitely admire is you figure out a way to, and from outside looking in, always put yourself first, prioritize your calendar, prioritize everything, and know that your time, the time for yourself, the time for what you're building is most important overall, while still making time, because I know you're big on family.
Yeah.
So, not really a question, but it's a hard concept for people to get to. One, put yourself first. Usually when you're a family person, you're the doer, you're the helper, you're the driver, you're the grocery store run, you're the can I borrow money, and you've kind of like mastered being your own self, respecting or having people respect your boundaries. So I just wanted to add that in as something that I admire, because
awesome.
A tough job.
And you know, a lot of it stems from also my beliefs, right? So I'm a Christian, and you know, a lot of things you'll hear Christians say is that you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yep.
Right? And that was not always true for me. That's actually a newer thing for me.
Okay.
And the reason being is because I've recognized that I cannot be this person who is trying to help all of these people learn these new things, you know, shine light on things that people may not have been exposed to, etc., when my cup is super empty.
Yeah.
You know, I've been burned out before. You know, I've been, you know, there's times where I felt like, okay, I'm just going to sleep for the month. You know, things like that. And that's super unhealthy, right? Even in health, right? Like, I'm losing weight. I'm not losing weight like Megan and Kevin, but I'm losing weight. And it's, you know, because I understand that in order for me I need stamina to do these things. If I'm going to be flying here, speaking here, teaching here, doing these things, you have to have that stamina. I was an athlete in high school. I was an athlete before that, you know, and I understand, I know what that stuff is, what training is and things like that. So now I'm getting back to that. So yeah, I definitely, it's a newer thing in terms of prioritizing it. But yeah, I've had to. It was imperative, right? Because I feel like I'm on assignment. So if I'm on assignment, I must make sure that my cup is full.
Yeah.
So that I can carry out the things that I want to do. I feel like God wants me to do, and things that just, you know, I feel like it's just innate to me. So that's the biggest reason why.
All right. So that is it for the question.
Woo-hoo.
We are moving on to this and that, this or that. So I know you've seen the videos.
Yep. Gotta be quick.
2 choices. First thing that comes to your mind. No thinking.
No thinking.
And I think that's about it. You ready?
I'm ready.
Need a sip of water before we start?
I can take a sip. This water ice cold. I get this ice. This water got ice in it. That's what I'm talking about. All right.
All right. Vacation or staycation?
Vacation.
Netflix or Hulu?
Netflix.
Night or morning?
Night.
Rich and famous or rich and unknown?
Rich and famous.
Passenger or driver?
Driver.
Owe money or owe a favor?
Owe money.
Wine or beer?
Wine.
Attend a party or host a party?
Host the party.
Reality shows or documentaries?
Reality show.
Board games or video games?
Video games.
Photo or video?
Video.
Social media message or text message?
Text message.
Group hangout or one-on-one hangout?
Group hangout.
French fries or onion rings?
French fries.
Cash App or Venmo?
Cash App.
Instagram or Twitter?
Instagram.
Roller coasters or water slides?
Roller coasters.
Girlfriends or guy friends?
Both.
Day or night?
Night.
Watch sports or play sports?
Play sports.
Work from the office or work from home?
Work from the office.
Interviewer or interviewee?
Interviewer.
Book smarts or street smarts?
Book smarts.
And the final question, drums or flats?
Oh, flats. All day. And that's a new revelation for me. I've learned that in the last year.
Okay.
Flats. I was like, I don't know why I keep eating these. I don't like drumsticks at all.
Alright, so next section is all about you.
Yes.
I call it Talk Your Ish.
Talk my ish.
Any events you have coming up, any marketing you want to throw out there, anywhere they can reach you, anywhere they can follow you?
Yeah, all of that. Okay, let me try this. Okay. So to reach me or follow me, like I said, I'm doing a big push coming this quarter. So follow me on Instagram. The Instagram name is Malik _Mr. Multi-Streams _Mac. Follow me there. There's gonna be a lot of information coming out there. I'm gonna start doing those reels. Same thing. It's gonna be the same name on TikTok. I'm gonna be on TikTok.
Okay.
I'm gonna be on this video series with Megan. So make sure you check this out. I'll be speaking at a writers conference this coming Saturday. It's called the Passionate Pursuit Writing Conference, and it's a virtual conference. So hit my Instagram. You'll see the link for that, so that you can register. That's gonna be pretty awesome. I'm gonna be teaching pretty much authors how to monetize their books, and things to do prior and post the book launch. You also can find me on. I'm launching a podcast. It's focused on multiple streams of income. So I'll be interviewing people. I'll be interviewing Megan and Kevin. And I'm pretty much breaking down it's called side hustles, or small businesses, or just income streams overall. So check out that podcast and check out my website for web development. It's mac-interactive.com. If you're looking to have web development, if your website's created, branding, anything like that, or you just want to start a conversation specifically in any of that arenas, because I'm doing a little bit, I also do entrepreneurship success coaching, so I can help you guys, create or come up with ideas, etc. I think that's the gist of things. I'm working on, like I said, moving into this real estate investing world. I got a 6-month plan to buy a rental property somewhere, and I have a 12-month plan to buy a quad or fourplex in California, in Los Angeles.
Nice.
So those are some things I would love to talk about entrepreneurship, real estate. So even if you just DM me and you're like, hey, you want to get coffee or virtual coffee, what may have you, I'm not always going to just be available, but we'll work to find some time on things. And so I'm here. I'm happy to be here, and I look forward to any of those questions, anything that you guys send to me.
All right. So last part, if you choose,
yes,
you can ask me any question.
All right. So I have a question for you. So this is a question I used to pose on my old podcast, Entrepreneur podcast. So if someone gave you $100,000 grant specifically to start a business, what business do you feel like you would take that money, and you think about your passion, you think about, and even, that $100,000 has elasticity. Maybe it could be $500,000 if you need it, what may have you. What business would you start and why? And then what are 3 things that you would do to ensure the success of that business?
So the business I would start, I would do financial coaching and budgeting for high school students.
Love it.
Purely nonprofit, just getting into schools, teaching kids. Usually that's when they're getting their first jobs. Teaching them how to manage before the money manages them. Teaching them how to save for a car. Teaching them what they need so that they don't make decisions in high school and get to college or get on to life and now they're burdened with a whole bunch of expenses. 3 ways I would accomplish. 1, I guess the biggest thing would be network.
Okay.
Networking out to the schools, to the Board of Educations, to show, 1, I think the need is obvious, but the benefit of me coming in, what I can offer, what I've done for myself personally and others, and the importance of credit.
Yes.
After that, I think I would do just events, as far as it doesn't have to be in school. It can be one-on-one. It can be personal coaching. What else would I do? I guess fundraise, because there's never enough money to build a dream as big as changing the world. So.
Okay, I have a follow-up. Why have we not done this already? Well, we as you.
Why have we not done it? I've always looked at, before I got involved in the nonprofits I'm involved with now, I've always looked at nonprofits as something rich people are able to do once they're a success, instead of something you can build through grants and funding from other sources. Now that I know that, probably currently why I haven't started within the past year after knowing that is I'm working on nonprofit work outside of that, and getting that established before I move on to my next venture.
You heard it here. So when that amazing initiative launches, I will be at the launch party. I'm sure I'll be giving some money in some way, shape, or form. Like that, to me, honestly, that I love that. I love everything about that, because as we all know, I feel like that's a skill set that for some reason we are not being taught young.
Yeah.
And I'm not even just putting it on the schools, and and parents and family members. I know all parents don't even know the stuff themselves. A lot of this stuff is just kind of like, thank God for TikTok University and YouTube is getting a little bit more visible, but I love this. Oh, I can't wait to see you do this. This is phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm a numbers person, so I like doing it. I've worked with Justice. Now that he got his first job, we sat down, we had a budget meeting.
I remember you told me that.
So it's definitely something that's needed. It's definitely something I may need to push a little harder for and figure out ways. But helping others is just a big passion.
I love that. See? She's interviewing other people. We're gonna have to interview her. We're gonna have to flip the script on her because we got questions. Well, thank you, Megan, for having me. I've been excited. I couldn't wait to do this. Megan asked me to do it virtually. I was like, no. I will be coming to Maryland once a month for the rest of the year, I'm sure. So we're gonna make this happen. So I'm happy we're able to make this happen.
I appreciate you coming out. I know your time home is short, and a lot of people want your attention. Yeah. So I appreciate you taking the time.
Of course, for y'all, please. And I got to see this new paint color. Oh man.
And that wraps up this week's episode of Boss Crush Wednesday with Malik Mack, Mr. Multiple Streams,
yes,
Mr. Entrepreneur,
yes.
Mr. I'm sure there's about 10,000 other things we could.
They call me Youth Pastor, man.
Youth Pastor.
Youth Pastor, man.
So thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to follow what he has going on. And if you do not know Malik, or if you have not connected with him, I strongly suggest reaching out, checking out any kind of coaching, anything that he offers is just going to excel you further, which is why he was one of the first people I asked to be on here, because he is one of the first entrepreneurs I know, and watching someone set big goals like moving around to different states and accomplish them is crazy admirable. So I appreciate the time you took.
I appreciate you having me.
And I will see you all next week.